Trojan Sports Now.
Hello and welcome to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Jonathan Sellers.
And I'm Danielle Percival. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Sports. Troy welcomed South Alabama to the Sun Belt this weekend for their conference opener. However, it wasn't just the rain that put a damper on the Jaguars' opening day. For the second week in a row, it was the defense that led the Trojans to victory, winning 31-10 over South Alabama. The Trojans have now won 2 straight in conference, but still have improvements to make.
You know, we played hard and we did some good things. We did some bad things. We're still turning it over too much.
The only thing uglier than the weather on Saturday was the number of turnovers. There were a combined 9 turnovers in the game, 5 of those on the Trojans, including 3 interceptions thrown by quarterback Troy Robinson.
We're giving up too many turnovers. I mean, that's an old story. You know, new chapter, but an old story. And Corey threw one up to which he's got to do something else with it. You know, we're gonna find something else for him to do with that ball because that'll wind up getting us beat. A flash decision like that.
The defense allowed only 252 offensive yards by the Jaguars, including just 59 passing yards. The only problem, they were on the field often after the offense turned the ball over.
Well, our job is to stop people, so no matter how many times we have to get on the field, we have to do what we have to do. We out there to be the defense, they the offense. If they turn over, we have to have their back. We're a team. If we lose and they lose, we all lose. We lose as a team.
And I'm proud of the defense for what they do coming and playing the game when the offense maybe gives them bad field position.
It was a rainy day in Mobile Saturday, but that isn't always a bad thing, according to Davis.
It favors us because if they catch the ball and we come and we hit them hard, the ball going to be slippery and it's going to come out. As you can see, it was a lot of fumbles caused today, and I think the weather took a big part in that. And I love it when it rains. It doesn't mean harder hits and more balls not loose.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the game right now. Definitely a big win for the Trojans, and it helps out in the conference standings as we take a look at the Sun Belt standings. Troy's the only team that's played 3 games so far, and they've now moved up to 2-1, but sitting in 4th place right now.
Well, that's right, and the team that the Trojans will be facing this next week, of course, they have the bye week this weekend, but next Thursday night, Western Kentucky, 1-0 in the league, of course, only has played 1 game in the conference, but still it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Well, and it was a game against Arkansas State that they actually had to come back and win down 13-0 at the half and came back to win, I believe, 16-13. So it was definitely a big victory, but it's good to see the Trojans winning games like they won on Saturday, turning the ball over 5 times and still winning by 21 points. I mean, you don't normally hear about that, but that's a big win.
Right. I was talking about the defense in that package because the defense was able to create turnovers, but you talked about the offense. Well, Troy Robinson is leading the Sun Belt with passing yard average per game, and then Chip Reeves leading in receptions and receiving yards per game, and was also named to the Blitnikoff Award watch list earlier this week. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I think he's about 35th in the nation right now, so on up there and representing Troy very well.
It's definitely been good to have Chip Reeves back. Definitely a big play threat that Troy Robinson needs. He's got guys like Chandler Worthy that he can throw it to underneath, and Eric Thomas that they can do some stuff in the middle of the field. Or Chip Reeves, they just tell him to run down the field and he makes big plays. I know we've talked about that several times, but that's what he's good at. But as you said, we got a big game against Western Kentucky next week. They're a very good team. It's back at home. We're 3-0 on the road, 0-2 at home so far, so we're going to have to turn some things around at home.
Right, because half the schedule is at home this year with 6 home games, and they are very tough games, but definitely crucial wins.
And Western Kentucky is probably one of the best teams in the Sun Belt that we'll see, so it's going to be a big matchup. But another team that we're going to have to talk about is going to be the Troy volleyball team, and Justin McNally is going to join us, who has been covering the volleyball team. And Justin, what has gotten into the Trojans this year?
Thanks, guys. Well, the Trojans have been dominating the competition as of late, winning 3 of their last 4 matches. And things have not changed when they took on the Owls of Florida Atlantic this past Saturday.
Entering Saturday's matchup with FAU, the Trojans have done the unthinkable by knocking off Middle Tennessee State and Florida International in their last 2 games, their first ever wins over these 2 schools. And the Trojans were able to keep the momentum rolling as they defeated the Owls in straight sets to pick up their 3rd straight win.
We hit for a really high percentage that game. We only had 1 hitting error, which that really helped us kind of expand the lead and get hold of game 1.
The Trojans dominated the majority of the first set, winning it 25-16. But the Owls came alive in the second set and tied the Trojans 14 times until Devin Von Pingel's service scored 3 straight points for the Trojans to take the second set 25-22. Kirkpatrick had told his team earlier to expect a tough match.
We told them at the beginning of the match to expect a 5-game match, to expect the games to be really, really tight. And game 2 and 3 were, 22 and 22, 23-22 in both of those games. I think our focus and our mental toughness is starting to come through a little bit, so it was good to see that.
Much like the second set, the third set saw a late Trojan rally to give the Trojans not only the set, but the match 25-22. Kayla Pickard led the way with 17 kills, and freshman Blair Winston added an additional 14 kills. Fawn Pingle and Brianna Collardy each led the way defensively with 4 blocks apiece. The Trojans are on a roll during this win streak by only dropping 1 game. But moving forward through the season, the Trojans are going to need some help.
With a 12-7 record so far this year, the Trojan women's volleyball team is off to one of the best starts in school history. But in order to keep that momentum going, Kirkpatrick says it's going to take some confidence.
Confidence is a good thing. I think we're fairly confident right now. We're playing well in spots. We were very focused today to get our job done and finish things off, and we had to earn every point.
After opening conference play with a loss to Western Kentucky, the Trojans have now won 3 straight conference games and hope to continue that streak against Arkansas State this Friday. Now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Justin. Well, a team that could learn from the volleyball team is the soccer team, as they continue to fall more and more behind in conference play, as their trip to North Texas was not the outcome they wanted, and they only got a lone goal in the Lone Star State. The Trojans fell to the Mean Green 5-1 in a game that got out of control pretty early. North Texas was able to net 2 goals before the 10-minute mark, and it only got worse from there. The Trojans' Chelsea Williams was able to score the only goal for the Trojans in the 18th minute for her team-leading 5th goal. And it was the Trojans' 5th straight loss. Head coach Chris Bentley with his thoughts on the game.
They came out, they were very athletic. They had a good speed of play about them. They played very direct. And our team really hadn't seen a lot of that this year, and I think we got kind of shell-shocked, to be honest. They got up a couple quick early goals, and we were able to get one back, quality goal, built a great attack, had a great cross come in, and our center forward finished it well. Just unfortunately, we couldn't get ourselves back. We climbed into a deficit, and I think we got down on ourselves in the second half, and it just kind of became a whirlwind of not really doing what we needed to do.
The Trojans are now 0-3 in conference play for the first time since joining the Sun Belt back in 2005.
The Trojan men's tennis team had a good weekend at the Southern Miss Invitational in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. The Trojans opened play on Friday, splitting the singles matches against UAB and Lamar and defeating South Alabama in doubles 3-0. Troy started Saturday by winning 2 of 3 matches against New Orleans before competition was halted due to rain. The Trojans will have a week off before the Sanford Fall Invitational.
Trojan Sports Now.